So it's good to see everyone. It's good to see everyone. My name is Mr. Ajiro, and I'm privileged to be your host in this meeting. Okay, so let's go to some few things that would really help us in this. That would really help us in this class. So let's do that. The first thing we want to look at is this paper right in front of me. And if you're very sensitive, I'm not going to say anything more than that, right? Okay. So yes, so if you have any questions, please put the questions down. I would look at them and we'll discuss them together. Give us an idea what we need to do. So I have this question here, right? The 2020 Olympics Game Committee is producing a database to show the medal winners in the cycling event. Database, right? Chapter 18. Okay, so it is important that the correct data type is used in each of the correct fields, right? Tick the most appropriate data type for each of the following fields. Remember, right? Let's do a quick, right? Let's do this. So here, this is chapter 7, right? And this is the system life cycle, right? Chapter 7, the system life cycle. Under the system life cycle, you would see this in the design phase. Okay, the design phase. And in the design phase, we talked about the 5 structure, right? We're just having a conversation, the 5 structure. We'll talk about database that needs to be created, knowing what files, records are. And then in data structure, we're just simply talking about data type. What are data types? Data types help us to identify the kinds of data that should be inside a field. Okay, and we have a lot of them. We have the various types of data type. We have Boolean, we have character, we have letter, right? And of course, we'll talk about character, they just, right, just alphabets. We'll talk about later, there are strings of characters. You need to know the difference, okay, including symbols. Okay, we have alphanumeric that consists of what? Your alphabet and numeric. Okay, very important. And then we have what we call the numeric. And numeric are in 4 categories, right? So under numeric, we have decimal, right? Integers, currency, date, and time. Literally, that's what it is. So now let's come back. Let's look at this together, right? Right? I've just covered just one part of the textbook for you in just a few minutes. Okay, how cool is that? All right, so we have the app link name. Notice there's what? There is what? An underscore. This is a special character. So this is going to be what? A text. Take note of that. Now we have gold medals. Now for Boolean, Boolean just returns it as yes or no, true or false. That's what a Boolean does. It's more or less logical, right? It just compares to give you one output. Is it true? Is it false? Is it yes? Is it no? So here we have the gold model, and this is going to fall under Boolean. We have age. Okay. Now, remember, we're talking about the data type. Now, the data type for age, when we look at age, okay, what will be in age? Age is 14. We have letters say we're 14, 15, right? Obviously, that's I think the max is 16 for IGCSE for the exam you're preparing for, right? So the age is 14, 15, right? So that simply means that this will be what? Numeric. Because that will be the data type that will be assigned. This is what we call a field. It's very important that we know this. Then the next one is what? Name of country. Notice that this is alphabet. This is a special character, which is including a symbol. And that simply means that this will be what? A text. Do you see how to answer the questions when you're being asked with certain questions like this? This is very, very, very important. Now, let's look at the next thing. I'm just going to do a glance through to just explain our points. So I have this question. a report has been produced that shows the male gold medals winners from the past 3 Olympic Games. Write down 6 of the formative features that have been used in the report. Remember, this is chapter 17, document production. So you can see that there can be practical questions in your theory. So don't just go reading chapter 1 to chapter 10 and you think everything is all good. You are invariably supposed to read chapter 1 to 21. And it must be like, Mr. Ajiro, I'm going to blank out. No, right? I have a simplicity in place to ensure that, see, when it comes to theory, theory is my thing, right? I'm good with theory because I just know how to have the conversations and we can talk about it and it all makes sense. Okay, so this is very, very important. So now let's write down those 6 features. Now, those 6 features here, the first one we have is one, it is what? Center the line. I noticed that this is what center the line is bold. Okay, I have this. This is underline. You can see this underline. Remember, document production. So this should not be strange. What else? This is a superscript. Now we have superscript and subscript. When it's power, it's superscript. When it's base, right, it is subscript. So this is what is superscript. Okay. What else? This is highlighted. Um, let's see. What else? This is italics. Yes, this is italics. I want to be sure. Yes, italics. See them. What else? This is indented, right? So this is indentation. Can you see the way I'm answering the questions? You don't have to, when it comes to theory, one of the things I always tell some of my students in my master class, my private tuition section is don't overthink it. Look at it critically. And I'm giving you this for free, right? Don't overthink it, right? Whenever you're given a question, look at it critically and see how you can bring the points together. It is very important. Okay, it is very important because if you don't do that, you are going to crash and your brain will start going awire and awire and awire, and then you start thinking too much. So you don't have to do that. When you go to the exam, have a breather, right? That is very, very important. Have a breather. So this is very, very important. And again, let's look at, is there anything here that probably we've not looked at? I think, let me see, which is the one. I'm just going through them again to see. We've talked about indentation, which is your tab. We've talked about superscript. So I think, how many is it? Let's look at it. 1. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. I think that's fine. Okay, 7. So I'm okay with 7. So that's fine. Okay, so let's look at the next one. I'm only going to look at very difficult questions, right? Very difficult questions that, okay, I don't need to talk about this now. We all know what this is, right? This is chapter 1 of your textbook. I will just be giving you chapters of where you can get them, and this will help you a lot. So this is literally, we all know this, right? Come on, we all know this, right? Okay, and this is where you have like, this is chapter 1, types and component of the computer system. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Please, what topics do you think will feature most in the exam?
Okay, I will do my best to just usually these are things I talk in the master class, but I will try as much as possible. If you go on with me, probably this would answer your question will be answered at the end of the class. If you go on with me. Yeah, that will be answered in the class. All right. All right. Okay, so we talked about it. So this is chapter 1, and this is user interface, literally user interface. And of course, you now know the user interface, right? So I'm not going to waste time on it. Moi, go ahead.
If I'm reading for theory, should I only read chapter 1 to 10?
Come again with that. You said what?
If I am reading theory, should I only read chapter 1 to 10?
Okay. No, don't read chapter 1 to 10, but you also need to have the practicals in mind. Now, what are the practicals that you need to probably pay attention to? Document production. Mm-hmm. Okay. Spreadsheet, style sheet. This is very key. I'm giving you this for free, right? So these are certain practical topics you really need to pay attention to. All right. Any other question, Moi?
No.
All right. Sure. Yes. After, yes, go ahead.
So, sir, what do you think will be like the hardest topic in the paper? Like the hardest part of the exam? Just generally.
What I think will be the hardest part in the exam, okay, if you go on with me in this class, that would be attended to. It will all make sense to you. Trust me. All right.
Okay, sir.
So let's go ahead. So here we talked about this, so I'm not going to spend much time with this, okay? So I'm going to do this, and I'm pretty sure I'm muted, so I'm going to go on with this. Now, the acts of disadvantage of using this type of interface. We already know the disadvantage of using type of interface, right? And of course, we'll talk about disadvantage of using the command line. It simply means that you have to memorize the commands, okay? And that simply means that if you're not typing the right commands, what happens? You're not going to get the right result, okay? So it simply means for every interaction with the computer, it has to be in commands. Even memorize those codes as much as possible. So that's very, very important. Okay. So this is I'm going to talk about this, right, as much as possible. The first one, hand-free, wireless connected, hand-free, wireless connected, a mobile phone to a car. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you too much. That's Bluetooth, right? That's Bluetooth. Okay. The other one, this is old syllabus. So this is going to be, I'm just going to put this old syllabus. It's important when you're going to pass papers to know what is an old syllabus, which is old syllabus, which is not. This is very important. This is what I'm giving you for free. Know which one is old syllabus and know which one is not. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about that. A network device that allows a LAN to connect to the internet. That allows a LAN to connect. This is literally chapter 4. Chapter 4, which is what networks and the effects of using them. Okay, forgive my handwriting. Effects of using them. Okay, I'm not with my pen. Okay, so this is what we call a router, and I'm going to quickly talk about this quickly. So remember, we have a hub, right? Speaking about hub, we have IGCSE hub. Okay, we have a switch. Okay, we have a bridge. Okay, and then we have a router. This is very important, knowing what they are. Okay, and it all precise to what you call your MAC address. Knowing what is a data packet. Can you see why I'm connecting the dots? I'm summarizing chapter 4 right here. Just summarizing chapter 4. So a MAC address is more or less what we call a physical address. A physical address, right? And we have what we call our IP address, which is your internet protocol address. Data packet simply means what? Sending these data. And these data are being split into what we call chunks, right? And they reassemble when they are heading toward the destination what? IP. This is very, very important. A switch, on the other hand, is the intelligent version of the hub. So it simply means that every information, every data packet that is sent to one of its ports, right, is going to determine where that information is being sent, to what destination that data packet should be sent. And this is because a switch has what we call a lookup table. See the way I'm splitting it for you, right? So that all the reading will be light for you. A lookup table, and then it has what we call a lookup table, and it makes up the MAC address. So the whole idea of the lookup table simply means that for every system that is connected to the switch, it assigns, it gets what? The MAC address of what? That device. So it simply means that any data packet that is sent to any of these ports is going to what? Send it to what? That specific what? Destination. Unlike the hub that will broadcast it to what? Every, right? Every port or what? Connected to what? To the hub. So this is very, very important. A bridge, literally, what does a bridge do? Right? A bridge brings mainland and island together, literally, right? But in an ICT sense, right? What it does is that it brings two or more lands to what? To act as what? A single land, using the same communication rule. Literally, that's what the textbook is saying, right? And we'll talk about routers, right? Routers now connect your land, right? Of course, there you have, now remember now, right? You have your nodes, right? Which is your computers, right? ICT computer science, we call it node. ICT, you can call it your computers. So you have your computers, right? So you can have your computers. So they're all connected to the switch. You have your server, right? And from here, it is now being connected to what? To the router. And from the router, you have what? Internet. Can you see what I'm doing? From the router, you have what? Your internet. Now, that brings us to what we talk about, the protocols, right? Your network, your network topology, where you have your LAN, WLAN, and you have your WAN. Please take note that MAN is not in your syllabus, right? For the students I'm going to be having class with in computer science, it is part of it. For computer science, is it? But for your ICT, you have LAN, WLAN, and WAN. LAN means local area network. WLAN means wide wireless local area network, right? This is what we use this when we are connecting our what? Internet port. Using our Ethernet what? Cables to connect using the RG what? 45. Why this? Your WLAN makes what we call access points. Can you see the way one question is solving the whole problem? That's why I teach you, right? Although in the master class, there is more in-depth teaching of this, right? Then you have your WAN, which is what? Your wireless, your wide area network. I'm not going to spend more time on this. So a wireless communication method used in WLAN is what? A wireless communication used in the WLAN is what we call the Wi-Fi, which is what? Wireless fidelity. Okay, hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to look for tough questions that would stress you, right? So this is chapter 7. This is chapter 7. Now, I don't even need to read it. Just seeing test data, I already know the chapter is coming from. So this is chapter 7. And here in chapter 7, you have, under the system lifecycle, you have development and testing. Once the system has been developed, what else? It's time to test it. Now, the type of test data we have is normal, abnormal, and extreme. Now, they give you a set of numbers. They said it's using, teacher is using awards 1 for the highest grade to 10 to lowest. So award 1 for the highest and 10 for the lowest. Okay, teacher has created a validation rule on the grade entered. Give an example of data to test the validation rule. Your answer for abnormal test data must be for a different reason in each case. So let's look at those abnormal data. Now, remember, for your normal data, it will be from what? 1 to 10. So here, example of normal can be 4. It's fine. Now, in the case of abnormal, abnormal simply means these are what data that reside outside, right? The limit of what acceptability or what or validity. They're outside the boundary. And should cause an error and be rejected. That's what your textbook is saying. Literally. And one of the things that would make you so good in ICT Paper 1 is if you love reading. I'm the kind of teacher that I love reading a lot. It's kind of like my trademark, right? He loves reading. But the most important thing that I do a lot of reading so that I get to explain, because the textbook is no joke. It's too much. Look at it, literally. This is like how many? This is like 571. It's literally too much for you to actually go to. Okay, so it's important. Okay, so please, so that's important, right? So please take note of that. All right. So abnormal should be what? Maybe a decimal number, that's abnormal. A negative number, that's abnormal. For example, if I have -10, that's abnormal. Here, if I have 2.5, remember, they said your answer for the abnormal test data must be different. Extreme, remember, extreme talks about that they are at the what? The boundary of what? Acceptability. And they have what? Two end values, right? Either the lower or the upper bound, right? So in this case, it can be 1 or what? 10. That becomes extreme. Okay, so this is very, very important. Let me look for some. Good. So this is spreadsheet. Part of the spreadsheet is shown. Column G subtracts the forecast grade from the average grade. So for here, we have what? Subtract or the forecast from average what? Grade. So this simply means that the average grade minus the forecast grade will give you. So if this was to be a formula, this would be equals to E2 minus F2. Make sense? Okay, now, all right. Describe the step the teacher can take to edit the spreadsheet to prevent new data being entered into the forecast grade column. So how do we prevent? For us to be able to prevent, it simply means that we have to lock this column. Okay, we have to lock this column. That simply means that we have to what? Highlight. Let me get my Excel. Like, this is practical, and most of you are like, Mr. Ajiro, you're losing me. What are you saying? Okay, so this is chapter 20 of the textbook. I'm just going to look at different chapters, and then we can just round up. Okay, more of this will be discussed in the master class. So we have this. So for example, I have admins, and I want to lock this particular column. Let me just do this, and I want to take this up. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so this is fine. Let's say I want to lock this column, so nothing enters in this column. So all I have to do here, I have to what? Go to what? If I also right click on it, I should be able to see okay, format cell. From format cell, I should be able to lock it. Protection, right? And then I can lock it, right? So here I have allow edit range. So here I can highlight this, click on allow edit range, and I can watch this, protect sheet, right? Protect the sheet, click on new. Now this is going to be what? The title is going to be admin. I'm going to put a password. Let's say ICT class, right? And this is from H1 to H5. Now watch what happens. I'm going to put the password again, ICT class. So I have this, right? I'm going to apply and click on OK. So now what happens if I want to do anything? Okay, for me, I have access to it. Now, for anybody that wants to, I close it and open it again, you probably will not have the opportunity to be able to do that because guess what? It's locked, right? And you don't have a permission to do that because I am the admin. I have the permission to actually what? Do that. So that is very, very important. Okay? So this is very, very important. All right. You can now enter the password to protect the sheet. So this is just the whole process in which it goes through. Okay. Now they said, so we've talked about prevent data. The next one is the teacher has typed in a formula in cell E3. Now this is a function round up. We have three types of round up, round down, and round. Round up is going to take whatever this is to what 0 decimal place. So this is going to be a whole number. So I'm invariably explaining what this formula does. This is a function. Both of them are a function. And we all know what function does, right? We've done paper 3 already. Okay. So the whole idea that functions are what predefine what calculate, they carry out predefined calculations. A good example is your sum, etc., etc. Right? So here simply means that this is a range, right? So this is the range of this, and it's going to find the average of this range. Now, it's going to round up whatever average this is. For example, yes, the masterclass is still available for those asking me. You can send me a message. For those who want to be in the masterclass, you can send me a message on Discord and we will talk about it. So just send me a message, right, on Discord, and that simply means that we'll talk about it. So send me a message on Discord, or you can go to my YouTube channel. My WhatsApp number is there. You can just send me my WhatsApp number, whichever one you want to do. Okay, but yes, the masterclass is still available, and we'll talk about it when we are closing the class. Okay, so yes. So explain in detail what the formula does. So I've invariably explained in detail what the formula does. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, so this is very, very important. So I've explained what the formula does. Okay, so yes. Again, somebody asked me a question. Mr. Joe, I've been getting this question a lot. Mr. Joe, and you guys don't let me sleep. I slept out about, I think I slept around 2, 3 a.m. No, 2:30 a.m. because Lola was still up at night. Yes, she says she studies better at night. Okay, so yes, most of you have asked me the question, Mr. Joe, does it mean that if I have a point that is not in the mark scheme, it will not be marked? It will be marked because guess what? We are just an examiner. We are only going to give an idea, an overview of what it should be as a guide for the examiners who are going to mark. But during the coordination, more are being talked about, more points are being talked on, more points are being added. So even if you have a point, you're practicing. That's why I always recommend using the textbook as your mark scheme. Always use the textbook. If you're going to make A star, the mark scheme is good, but your best bet is the textbook. Let me tell you why the textbook is the best bet. Because number one, so many past years are old syllabus. The only new syllabus you have is from your specimen paper 2023, and that's all you have as of the time of recording of this video. So if you're going to use 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019 to practice, your best bet is the textbook. Please read me loud and clear. It's your textbook. And that simply means sit it down, get in your sticky notes, and get to work. I'm always online. You can always call me. We'll talk about so many things. Talk about the textbook, right? And then it all makes sense. All right. So this is very, very important. I'm doing a glance through, literally. That's okay. This is teacher has produced a graph showing the difference between the forecast grade and the average grade for each student. The graph looks like this. Now, why does the graph look like this? Now, I want to explain what this means. Now, notice that this is for what the average grade between the forecast grade and the average grade for each student. So here, forecast grade and average grade for it. So this is the difference. Watch this. They said the teacher has produced a graph showing the difference between the forecast grade and the average grade for each student. The graph looks like this. The difference, the difference between the forecast grade and the average grade simply means that the average grade minus the forecast grade will give you what? The difference. So this is showing the difference. And the difference here simply means that this is what you're going to do, right? Spreadsheet, presentation, which this is literally chapter what? 16 of the textbook, right? Because then we'll look at charts. We're not looking at charts, and that's 16. Graph and charts, right? 16 of the textbook. So this simply means that we're going to select the name of the student, hold our control, and then select the difference. So here you are having 1, which is your y-axis, and they are having -3, which is what? Minus y-axis, which is negative. So this is why you have this. Can you see that? This is why you have this. Remember, this is the category axis. This is your value axis. Very, very important. Now they say describe the steps taken to create the graph, including your answers, 3 improvements that could be made to the graph. Can you see the way I'm breaking the, see, this is why I love paper 1. Most of the students who wrote the earlier IGCSE, of course, most of the results came out very excellently. Most of the master class students, they made A stars, right? They made A's, made B's. Okay, because at the end of the day, your ability to be able to interpret the question is key. And me, I don't like stress. I like making things so easy so that when learners come to look at it, you have the most mark. Okay, which is very important. Paper 2 and paper 3 is 60%. So if you're going to, of course, I already have some students on Ajiro Tech who want to go for World Top. I'm so proud of them. They're going for World Top, right? They're going for best in country in ICT. And I'm giving them all the support they need to go for World Top. Because at the end of the day, it also helps the Ajiro Tech to be able to say, yeah, we produce World Top, right? Best in the world in ICT, okay? So yeah, so this is important. Now they say, describe the steps taken to create the graph, including your answer 3 improvements that could be made to the graph. I look at this graph as being shallow. Forgive my language, right? Now the first thing that comes to mind is there's no title in your chart, and that's why I made a recommendation to chapter 16. So if I want to answer this question, this would be chapter 16. Now you see where it's coming from. Chapter 16 of your textbook. Chart and graph. And for those who are wondering, this is a vertical bar chart. Bar graph, right? All right. So now there is no what? There's no title. There is no title in the chart. What again? Now, another one I noticed is the fact that axis labels. Now, usually we have our axis labels, right? The axis labels are not there. We'll talk about axis labels, we'll talk about data labels. We don't have the numbers at the top of each bar. That's a problem. Okay? Come on. You can also remove grid lines. That can be an improvement. You can remove the grid lines. That can also be an improvement. Okay? And what else? We can probably change the color. If you want to change the color, that's fine. Okay, so that's fine, right? So how many marks is this? This is more or less 6 marks. So here we have describe the step taken to create the graph. We have described the steps taken to create the graph by selecting what? All we had to, we highlighted what? The let's go back to it. So we highlighted what? The name of student, okay? And then we hold our control and then highlighted what? The difference. And then we went to insert on our menu tab, right? On our menu, and then click on what? Charts, 2D columns, and then we have it. So I've explained that and 3 improvements that could be made. You can see how I've broken this question into pieces. You don't need to be thinking too much. The problem I have with students is when they go to the exam hall, you start thinking too much. Don't. These are things that you know. Settle down, look at the question, break them into pieces. It will all make sense. Right? It will all make sense. All right. Question 5, I'm just going to go just run through. When using the internet, if FTP can be used, explain what is meant by the term FTP. Remember, this is chapter 10 of the textbook. Okay, which is what? Communication. Something funny happened. I had a master class with the February math student. So I had 4 of them, and of course they paid handsomely for it, right? And in one of the master class, I did Kajef, right? That's the name. And in the master class, she was like, "Sir, you said you read the textbook." I said, "Yes." So she started asking me questions from the textbook, literally from chapter to chapter. Literally, it's important as a teacher. It's important that when you're going to face off your students, you have to be the first person going to the textbook, back and forth, right? Because it all makes sense to you. So that when you're talking about the students, when you explain the concept to them, it's going to make sense to them when they get back to the textbook. And this is why paper one is fundamental. And that is why if you go and look at so many YouTube channels on paper one, they don't explain the concept. This is why I came on board, to help students to understand the simplicity of ICT. ICT is very simple. And most time when I check those YouTube channels and they don't explain the way it should, I get angry, because it should be simple for students to be able to study and study and study and study as much as possible. When we talk about FTP, the first thing in this question, the first thing you do in questions like this is look out for the full meaning of this acronym. That's 1 mark. Chapter 11, file management, right? You have something like this, RTF. You have CSV. These are generic files, by the way. For your images, you have PNG. Now, this is chapter 11. You have GIF, right? You have JPEG. You have PDF. These are the types of images in chapter 11 of the textbook, file management. Right? File management. This one, when it comes to paper one, I'm the best of its kind. One of the best in paper one. Because it simply means that you need to understand the concept, read the textbook back and forth, understand the concept, and know how to break it down for your learners to be able to understand. So the first thing you want to do is to know what EFT is, right? And this simply means file, transfer, protocol. Even if you don't know anything, from this, just know the full meaning, and that would help you a lot. The next one is that, what then is FTP? Know that it is used for transferring files from one computer to another. Remember, in chapter 10, if you've read chapter 10, right, you discover that when you want to transfer your files, or you want to upload your files from your local computer to your what? To your host server, right? You make what we call an FTP. So FTP is used for transferring files from one computer to what? Another. And this is done over what? The internet. Now, see, we've asked the question, what's the difference between internet and intranet? Now, internet is what? International network. Internet, international network. Intranet is a private network that is only accessible within an organization. When it becomes an extension, it's known as what? Extranet. I am here to just make this easy for you. I'm not here to just stress you. Okay? Right? So that's what it is. So this simply means that this makes sending of information very secure, because this resides behind what we call a firewall. A firewall. What's the function of a firewall? Is to filter incoming and outgoing traffic. It's as simple as that. I'm not here to talk too many stories. I'm here to just break everything down for you, man. Right? So you'll be happy that you go and like, good, this is paper one. So good. Okay. So good. All right. So that's very important. All right. I think I'm just going to run up with this. Now, smishing, phishing can affect the security of user data. Chapter 8. Safety and security. Now, under safety and security, this is under what we call security of data. Under security of data, we have what we call data threats. You see, I'm breaking everything down for you. Now, under the data, we now have smishing and phishing. But for us to be able to understand, I'm just going to give you everything, right? So you have farming, right? We have phishing. I'm adding to it. We have smishing. We have phishing. I know most of you are saying, Mr. Ajiro, all the she is too much. Okay, do we have phishing too? No, we don't have phishing. Those no phishing, right? So let's look at farming. What farming does is to, right? There's a malicious code that is installed into a user computer that redirects a user browser to Fake websites. So any website the user is trying to type, right? It could be your banking details. It's going to redirect them to another site. And the whole idea is for data theft, identity theft, if you want to call it. Phishing simply means voicemail smishing. Voicemail. This is where an automated message or voice is going to be sent to your voicemail, telling you to call a particular number, right, for confirmation. They act as legitimate. And when you call those numbers, the whole idea is to get your personal details. Smishing simply means, this is voicemail phishing. Smishing means SMS phishing. This simply means that they send a text message to you, telling you that you have won something, you should click on this link or call this phone number, all with the sole purpose, the sole goal, okay, with the sole goal of getting your personal data. Why for phishing, right? They send a legitimate looking email, right, telling you that you've won something, click on this link to go to a website, and when you click on those links, you put your username and password, you're gone. Those informations are being sent. Now, don't forget, we also have other kinds of data threats. We have keylogin software. Keylogin software. We have virus. We have worm. It's very, very important. Okay, it's very important. So what are the methods that can be used to prevent phishing? Don't reply to any unknown emails. Be careful. Always scan your attachments. Scan them. Scan them, right? So please, and also check out for grammatical spellings, errors, right? This is very, very important. Now, they said complete each sentence using the most appropriate output device from the following list. Now, let's look at this. We have 3D printers, buzzers. Okay, let me just help you and do this, right? So 3D printers is chapter 2, right? It's part of the input and output devices, although you also see this in chapter 6, ICT application, when we are talking about computer in medicine. You see that now. So it's linked. In chapter 2, we look at it under output. Remember we have printers now. What are the printers we have? LaserJet, inkjet, and dot matrix. Those are three printers we have. Then we talk about 3D printers. And what did they do? They produce solid objects. They produce solid objects. Well, I'm not here. I'm just here to just break everything down for you. Right? We've talked about the laser. Buzzer is not part of its own syllabus. LCD monitor is output. We have monitors now. The monitors that we have what CRT, which is the cathode ray tube. LCD means liquid crystal display. We have a LED, light emitting diode. Dot matrix is also type of printer. We have light. I think this should be a sensor, right? This should be a sensor. We'll look at it. We have heater, wide format printer. We also have this, the wide format printer. So take note of that, right? It's very important that you take note of that. Now, for the wide format printer, what do we call it? We call them the graph plotter. And they make, and what? The graph plotter. So they use pen or pencil or marker, okay, to draw continuous what? Lines. Now, device that produce prosthetic limb, okay, is what? Prosthetic limb. Don't forget, 3D printer. Let's go to ICT application real quick. ICT application, no time. As a random. Now, remember in computer and medicine, we use the use of what? 3D printers and of course, patient record and pharmacy records. Now, we also have expert system. Now, expert system is one of the questions that usually comes out. Now, expert system, take note that we have what we call the user interface. User interface, right? With the inference engine. The inference engine, we have up here the explanation system that explains the reason behind the conclusion, right? And even gives recommendation. Here we have knowledge base, and then the rule base. This is the repository of facts. Okay, and the rule base is what? A set of inference rules. Booking system. How do you do your online booking system? The whole idea of online booking system is to ensure that it prevents any form of what? Double booking. And you get immediate feedback from your bookings. Banking system. Is it banking system? Banking system. You are looking at how you can be able to make use of the ATM, automated teller machine. How you can be able to pay, okay, with your ATM card, and what goes behind the scene. Okay, your EFT POS, online shopping, internet banking. This is very, very important. Modeling, giving you simulations to create the model of what you want to build. And that talks about weather forecasting. Because ICT application is the longest subtopic in all the chapters. A line note, you can verify. The device that can output soft copy. Soft copy is what? The LCD monitor. Take note of that. The device that can produce sound as its main output. Sound as its main output is what? The buzzer. But again, that is what? Old syllabus. Now we talk about tablet computers, and then we talk about desktop computer. This is chapter 1, and I'll round up with this because of time. Chapter 1. Now in chapter 1, types and components of the computer system. You need to know when we talk about desktop computers, types of computers. We have 2 types of computers. Please take note. 2 types of computer. We have desktop computer. So most of you are asking, Mr. Ajiro, what do you mean? We have mobile computer. Now, under this mobile computer, we have 4 types. We have laptop, tablet, smartphone, and finally, phablet. The difference between your tablet, smartphone, and phablet is just the inch, the size between them. Right? So we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of using tablet rather than a desktop. Okay? The first thing you have to look at is between tablet and desktop, which is more portable. You don't have to think too much. These are things that you use on a daily basis. Look at them, visualize them. This is tablet, this is desktop. What is it? Which one is more portable? Which one has which one is powered efficient? Which one is more mobile when you are using internet connection? Okay. In disadvantages, which one is easy to steal? you have to look at that now. Which one is easy to steal? Okay. And also, it's the nature of tablet. You know, tablet computer does not come with keypads. So it simply means that you have to make sure the touch screen to type, which is slow. There is no mouse, right? So because there's no mouse, it's harder to use. So this is very, very important. Okay, you have covered so much. Now, they said people rely heavily on micro control devices in the home. This is chapter 5. The effects of using IT. Describe 2 drawbacks in terms of lifestyle changes that has produced for the users of such devices. Drawbacks in terms of lifestyle. This simply means, remember in the micro control device, I'll round up with this because we've covered so many chapters. Now, this simply means that the micro control devices, these are devices that are being controlled by the microprocessor. But remember sensor. I know that for sensor to be able to send information to the microprocessor, it needs a device called the ADC. But that's a story for another time. We're just talking about those stories. Now, for the microprocessor, we have them in your leisure time, your lifestyle, physical fitness, okay, social interaction, data security. And we have them in 2 groups. Remember, we have labor saving devices, which is group 1. And then we have other devices, which is what? Group 2. Your alarm clock, television set falls under what? And your air conditioning system falls under group 2. Group 1, which is labor saving, you have automatic vacuum cleaners, you have your microwave oven, automatic washing machine, etc., etc. So now, in terms of lifestyle, leisure time, what are the drawbacks? Since these devices have come to play, it makes people to be lazy because they are dependent on these devices. It leads to an unhealthy lifestyle. We have smart fridges, right? Why it keeps you fit? Again, it leads to a healthy lifestyle because you don't want exercise. You can just be on the fridge, you can just be at home, and your smart fridge will order food for you. So it leads to an healthy lifestyle. I am telling you, you have gotten to a point without thinking. Now you have automatic vacuum cleaners. Can you see where I'm giving you the points? ICT is simple. See, when it comes to ICT, if you read and understand, and you have a teacher who teaches you the basic concept, trust me, it will be the simplest exam that you're ever written. Because you need to understand, no, bringing down labor-saving devices. Now I'm talking about drawbacks. It all makes sense. Now, if I have automatic vacuum cleaner, right, and it's now cleaning the house for me, what it simply means that I'm going to lose household skills. The household skills I have is going to be lost. I will have automatic dishwasher that will even wash plates for me. So the household skills will be lost. This becomes a disadvantage. And with this, I would round up, right? There are other things I want to talk about, but they will be on the master class, right? On the paid class, and then we can talk more on them. So that I can give time for questions and then I would close, right? I have so many things to talk about, but because of time, I'm unable to do that. All right, so let me just give time for questions because of time. Let's look at this. Please, if you're here for trolling, Ezra is going to do a very good job by removing you. All right, so let's yes, Jenny, your hand is up. Talk to me.
Yes, sir, I had a doubt. So for
Okay,
some type of questions, can we answer in 1 or 2 words?
come again with the question.
So for example, the paper that you were solving just now for the 6 characteristics that you need to identify for everything, could I just write borders or italics or something like that instead of explaining every single thing?
Please, your answers should be in points. That's a very good question. Your answers should be in points. Itemize them. Avoid writing too many essays. Avoid it. This is not English language. Just get straight to the point, right? And that will save you a lot of stress. All right.
So one more before I go.
Yes.
So, and for those long marker questions, even for those, we point them and for the advantages and disadvantages, and we just write the advantage on one side and the disadvantage on one side, and then you give your conclusion, right?
Now, if they ask you advantages and disadvantages, stick to that. Give advantages and disadvantages. If it's a 4-mark question, 2 advantage, 2 disadvantage. If it's a 6-mark question, 3 advantage, 3 disadvantage, 4 advantage, 2 advantage. But for you to have the full mark, you must talk about the advantage and disadvantage. When they tell you to evaluate, then you can probably talk about conclusion. Knowing the command words is key. That's why the command word is important. Please go to the command word. Knowing what state means, knowing what identify means, knowing what explain means, knowing what comparison, construct and compare, what they are. This is very, very important. Knowing what evaluate. Okay, this is very justify. This is very, very important. Okay, yes. Okay. Moi, go ahead.
So earlier you said that I should read chapters 1 to 10 and that I should do style sheets, spreadsheets, and document production. Is that the only thing in practical that I need to read?
Yes.
Alright.
Mm. Yes, Nivan, talk to me. Nivan,
Yeah, so
Nivan, talk
I
to me.
just wanted to know, could you just like tell us which chapters should we like focus on a little bit more, and in the paper, which ones do you think will be more common?
Okay, so I would I will just tell you some of the chapters to read. And in the master class, for those who are interested, we can further on them, right? So go to chapter 1. Okay, so
Okay.
please, I want everybody to take down the chapters to focus on. Okay, so that would help everybody. So go to chapter 1, types and components of the computer system. That's the first one. The next one is, okay, the next one is go to chapter 4, networks and effects of using them. Go to chapter 3. Briefly, in chapter 3, what are the things you need to just study? Just look at SSD, HDD, right? SSD, HDD, okay? Your CDs, right? Remember for memory cards, we have how many types of memory card? 3 types of memory card now. We have SD, XD, and we have there are 3. And the CFAS card, okay? So we have the XD, which is the secure digital card. XD, let me write it down. I've gotten a message, Mr. Ajiro, please write down, please. Okay, and there's a crying emoji. So let me just write down, please. We have SD, which is secure digital. Please don't be scared, though. Most of you are just sending me messages and you're panicking. Don't panic. You have Ajiro Tech here. Extreme digital, right? Card. And then we have the CFAX. CFAX. Now, this CFAX, this C simply means compact fast card, right? So this is for what? Memory card. Okay, and then know your SSD and HDD. Okay, input and output devices, know them. That's chapter 2. Know chapter 7, the system life cycle. Chapter 8, safety and security of data. Chapter 10, communications. For the practical, chapter 21, website authoring. Chapter 17, document production. Chapter 20, spreadsheets. Those are the chapters that will do you good. Come back and give me testimonies. For those who want me to talk about it in more in-depth, we're going to do that in the master class, right? All right. So go look at the next question, and then we'll try to see how we can round up. Yes. After, go ahead. You have the mic.
It was SD, which is secure digital card, and what's the last one? C fast. What is that?
Yes, C fast. That's compact fast card.
Compact fast card. So also, will they ask us like the differences, or do we just need to know the like full form?
No, just know the difference. That's why I'm just recommending you to your textbook. Know the difference, right? So
Okay,
go to your textbook.
like what chapter
You
is it
said
under?
this
What
is
chapter
chapter
is this?
3. Chapter 3. Sorry, chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3. And if you're wondering what it is in chapter 3, this is storage devices, storage media, and devices. This is chapter 3, storage media and devices. Okay. I'll go to, okay, I'm seeing questions. Okay, let me look at it. I'm coming. Yes, I'll upload it on YouTube. I'll upload the questions on YouTube. Yes, and I'm trying to answer your questions for the master class. Let's see. I saw a question here. It said, oh, okay, it's typing the things I said. More to touch screen. Okay, good. Chapter 1, chapter 4, chapter 3. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, I think I just repeat. I repeat what I said. From the input and output, Yes, input and output devices. Now remember, input devices used to send data to the computer system, right? It used to send data to the computer system manually. But when it is being sent to the computer with little or no human interaction, it is called direct data entry. I'm going to repeat this again. Please write down. Input devices used to send data to the computer system. That's the manual process, right? And we have our joysticks, we have our cameras, okay, to do that. Okay, light pen. Now, when we send data to the computer system with little or no human interaction, we call that a direct data entry devices, DDE. Make sense? All right. Okay. Okay, hands are up. So let me just start. Yes. Okay, so let me just. Yes, Nini, you have the mic.
So I have two questions. My first question is, should we really focus on direct data entry devices a lot, what they do and like how they are used?
I'm happy you asked those questions. Now, watch me. I'm about to break chapter 2 for you to be very easy. You know, there's something about me, right? And probably I should not say it, right? Because now the thing is, when I'm teaching my students in physical school, I stress them a lot. But when it's time for the exam, I just give them the only thing they need, right? And you'll be like, what's not enough stress? Because I want them to know everything, right? But so now, because of the closeness of the exam, what do you need to do? Now, watch this. I'm going to break chapter 2 for you. So it all makes sense. So let me go down. Okay, right? So let's go down and look at it. So this, I'm just going to find a space to write this. Okay, I think I can write this here. Now, for input devices, you just need to know at least one or two uses of each of them, know the advantage and the disadvantage. Okay, and the disadvantage. Especially, so what are those advantages that you need to take note of? Those input devices that you need to take note of, that any day and anywhere you'll be able to see them without a doubt. So the first I want to talk about is keyboard. Keyboard, pointing devices. Scanners, that's all. You can just glance through the rest. For DDE, of course, don't forget sensors. For input device, sensors are very key because sensors would simply means major physical environment, and you need to know the type of sensors that we have. We have light sensor, we have temperature sensor, we have the pH sensor, etc. You know this, right? Etc. etc. Now, when we talk about the DDE, you need to know card readers, right? So what are those card readers? Don't forget, we have magnetic stripe readers, contactless card readers. We have the chip and pin, right, with card readers, right? And then another thing you need to know is the RFID. Difference between it and the barcode. Very important. Difference between them and the barcode. Very, very important. Knowing your OCR, OMR is not a big deal because OCR simply talk about optical character recognition, OMR, etc., right? Your RP devices, you're probably looking at monitor, printers, 3D printers, and that's all, right? So
Sir,
all, yes, go ahead.
for DDE, did you say card reader?
Card readers, yes. Under the card readers, we have magnetic stripes. We have the magnetic stripe readers. We have the contactless card readers. We have the chip and pin card readers. This falls under the card readers. Make sense? And then knowing the difference between your RFID and the barcode, which is the radio frequency identification, and of course the barcode. Although in the barcode, this is a well-trusted and reliable method. But then again, RFID, you can be able to capture so many items at the same time. Although its advantage there talks about tag collision. I've helped you to summarize it. You're welcome. All right, next question. All right. All right. The next question is Longwood. You have the mic.
What did you write under printing under keyboard? I mean, what did you write under keyboard? Because I can't read it.
Okay. That's why. So keyboard. So we have pointing devices. This is called pointing devices. You know your pointing devices now. We have your mouse. Remember your mouse can. We also have the optical mouse and we have the wireless mouse, right? So we have the optical. We have the pointing device. Your mouse. We have your tracker ball, and then we have what your touchpad. This falls under your pointing devices. Okay, we just go into the textbook. All right. All right. So next question, please. Next question. All right. I'm trying to round up because I'm having a master class very soon. Yes. Okay. After your hand is still raised up, yes, talk to me.
So you know the topics you just gave us, should we just mainly see them and focus on them instead of studying like other topics?
Focus on the ones I've told you. Yes, in
Only
the
that
master
one.
class, yes, in the master class, we dwell so much on them by looking at series of topics, topical questions, just to reinforce all those, right? But go through them with the textbook. That would do you good. That would do you good. You will come and say it wasn't really a bad exam. Yes, that would do you good. Yes.
All right.
Jordan, I think your hand is raised up. Jordan, talk to me.
Masterclass.
Is that? I didn't get that.
How do I get the masterclass?
Okay, so send me a message on Discord, right?
Okay.
Send me a message on Discord and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yes, send me a message on
Please,
Discord.
what time is the master class? What time? How long?
Okay, good. Now, since we're talking about the master class, so I have this here, right? So this is currently my available appointments. Okay, so for each of them, okay, you can see that for 6th of May and 7th of May, because this is where the exam is getting close, it's been sold out, right? So these are the only ones that are available. So you can just send me a message on Discord and then we can talk about that, right? So this is very, very important, right? So please, the whole idea is that it's going to be first come, first serve basis, right? So the first person will be attended to. All right.
Another
Any other
question.
question? Yes.
Sorry, if you pay more than the person in that slot, could I get the slots?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yes, Mike hand is up. Is it up? Yes. Mike, you have the mic. Mike has the mic. Okay. Yes.
Okay, hello, sir.
Yes, Jordan, you have the mic. Moya, I see you. I'm going to call on you. All right, just send me a message on Discord. For most of you who are not there yet, okay. So I think Ezra have posted the link for the Discord. So probably just click on it and then send me a message, right? Okay. Yes, Nini, you have the mic.
So for types of computers, which ones do we need to know the advantages and disadvantages of?
Know all, because it's really not difficult knowing the types, right? We have desktop computers and we have other computers, right? The mobile computers.
Okay,
just know the advantages between them. It's
and
really
so
not
also,
yes.
do we need to know anything? Should we study anything specific for ICT applications and system lifecycle.
ICT application. Communications. Very important. Booking system.
Okay.
ESPA system. Recognition system. Recognition, right? Especially NPL. Banking. You're fine. Leave the rest. Then, yes, I talk about banking because obviously for the banking, we have the internet banking and internet shopping. So you need to know that. I think that's all I said. Yes, I think that was all. Yeah. But the class is recorded, so probably you get the whole gist of it. All right. So okay,
Sir, what type of
yes,
communications do we have to
it's a what?
what type of communications do we have to focus on?
Okay, for communications, right? Knowing, in communications, we have the paper-based and electronic-based. For the paper-based, we have posters, okay? We have your posters and newsletters, okay? And where's something else? Posters and newsletters, okay? Flyers is also syllable. So knowing your posters and newsletters are paper-based. For electronic-based, you're probably looking at websites, you're probably looking at multimedia presentation, you're probably looking at media streaming. These are very, very important. Okay. And then moving on from communication briefly, moving on to communication briefly, you need to also take note of this. This is very, very important. Okay, because this is most of the time, this is where students they just forget. And this is what we talk about your e-publication. Just of course, e-publication is very simple because more or less you just have them in electronic means. And what are those e-publication? E-library, e-magazines, e-books, and one again, I think e-newspapers, right? And then mobile communication is the problem. Most people don't read up mobile communication. So I'm just going to summarize mobile communication because this is a recorded class. Now, for mobile communication, what are you looking at? You're looking at the following. You're looking at SMS, right? Which is text messaging, right? Which is a very quick way of communicating to people, even if they are not reachable. Okay, even if they are not reachable, it is very quick of reaching them, and it's less expensive than making calls. In all retrospect, less expensive than making calls. You can send it at any time of the day, right? For phone calls, it's one of the most obvious use of a mobile phone, right? Our ability to be able to make calls while on the move. Mobile communication to talk about that when we are communicating, we're on the move. Mobile, we're on the move, right? And phone calls is one of them. Okay, so that is very, very important. And then we talk about voice over internet protocol, the void IP. This simply means making and receiving calls of the internet, and that is very, very important. I'll summarize the whole thing for you, so you can just dive in. The masterclass will dwell more on that. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm right up right now. Come on with the second question. You said what? If it's going to be what? Okay. Yes. God sign. Yes, God sign. You have the mic. Okay, I think yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, can you please explain me the validation part in chapter 7? Like
Okay.
formal check and length check and all those.
So I'm just going to just dive through, just summarize the whole thing, and
Yes, please.
of course we'll talk about more in depth in the master class. All right. So now we'll talk about validation routines, right? Chapter 7. The whole idea of validation routines is to ensure that it satisfies certain criteria when those data are entered into the database. The whole idea, the validations, right? So the whole idea is that it checks to ensure the data entered is what is reasonable and sensible. And we have format check. The whole idea of format check is to ensure that the data are in the correct format. And what's the correct format? I'm going to write this, right? For those who's going to write this, this is going to be what? DD/MM/YY. Most time, this forward slash is separated with a space. Take note. Then we have a present check. When we talk about present check, it simply means that that particular field must be filled before you can be able to submit the form. So it simply means that there must be a value in that particular field. Rain check talks about what? The lower bound and upper bound of that value in that field. Okay, length check simply means that it must be the accurate numeric value. Okay, so this is very important. And then we have check digits. The whole idea of check digits is to ensure that there are no extra digits added. And check digits is used to check the following errors: incorrect data, missing data, or values or data that have been what? Transposed. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we are now having what? 4, 3, 2, 1. So you want to avoid all this. And that's the whole idea for check D. And check D is used for what? For ISBN. That's what check D is used for ISBN. And this is something you see in ICT application when we talk about computers in retail industry. See, they are linked together. Chapter 6, computers in retail industry. It's actually fun, really. And we have fun of this in the masterclass. All right. Any other question? I have some questions in the comment section that I've not attended to. Please let me attend to those questions in the comment section because it is buzzing right here. I can't really hear what you're saying because I was lagging a lot, and that's why I asked. Okay, Nigeria is working. Okay, yes, the class is recorded, so fear not only it will be posted. Type data entry, input data set to computer, but when we say data, we don't. Okay, it's just typing it. That's good. I've talked about the main topic we should focus on. Okay, man. Okay, I think Ezra can just copy them and just paste them. Okay, Lola sent a message. So Lola, send me a private message on Discord. Right, Lola, I'm just seeing your message now. So Lola, send me a private message on Discord and we can talk about it. Right? Send me a private message on Discord, Lola, and we can talk about it. Right? I just saw your message now. She's just inquiring how much for the masterclass. Yes, join the IGCSE Hub on Discord for future updates, tips, and classes. So please join. I think Edda, post the link again. I think I posted the link for everybody, so that they can just join in and they can just send a message to me for those people who are not there on Discord, right? Okay, so and for those who have not, I think that's the link for Discord, for our Discord community server, right? For those who have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you also want to do that because I will be posting some tips as well that would help you a lot, right? So please do that. Okay, so yes, okay, give me a minute to just scroll up and see. Okay, so we have some trollings, people who are just trolling the platform, and that is why our chat box is specifically to only the host and co-host. Okay, okay, I think that's all. It said, let me see, what else? So also, we are required to make a paper-based electronic form. Okay, when we talk about form, we're talking about the design view. Now, in the design phase, okay, now in design we have the input format and the output format. Knowing how to make a form is also important. And that's why I say chapter 7, right? And knowing the requirements of making a form is important. It has to have an appropriate heading, okay? It has to fill up the white spaces. You need to have a navigation button, that's your button as much as possible. It should have other features like your drop down should be there in your drawings. Help button should also be there as much as possible, your field and your text box, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, please, Ezra is posting. Yes, oh, it's okay. Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing your message now. So send me a message. Send me a message on Discord. and that will be done, right? Send me a message on Discord, and that will be done, right? So just send me a message on Discord, and that will be done, right? Only I'm just seeing your message right now, right? And please, the rules of netiquette. We talk about netiquette. Netiquette talk about internet etiquette. Certain rules that you have to follow when you are communicating on the internet, okay? And that is also part of chapter 10, communications. Okay, so we have some certain rules on our platform that if you violate, you will be banned. Okay, so please, this is important because it is a safe space. Okay, so what about email laws? Now, you don't have to focus too much on email laws, right? Because again, we'll talk about email laws. We're talking about certain emails that governs how organizations they send messages to their customers as much as possible. Okay, you don't have to focus too much on them. Okay, so this is very, very important. You don't have to focus too much on them. Okay, so that's very, very important. All right, that's very important. Okay, but the rules of netiquette is very key. The rules of netiquette is very, very key. And what are those of netiquette? Don't be abusive. Don't send. Be clear and substantive with your messages. Respectful privacy. Don't use capital word because they can highlight shouting, right? And that is very, very important. Netiquette, right? Internet etiquette. The email laws there is just more or less like guidance for employers as much as possible. Okay, so it simply means that one of them, I think if I can remember, is incoming email should be read by the recipients and they can only be read by the members of staff if so nominated. Okay, of course, companies they have their own policies on how they can deal and prevent viruses as much as possible. Okay, so yes, analysis, design, development, testing, documentation, implementation, evaluation. Knowing your system lifecycle is important. Chapter 7 is important, right? Is important, right? Carl, I can talk about that. We talk about that exclusively in the masterclass, right? All right. Yes, your fishing and vision, I've talked about it. That's chapter 8 of the textbook, right? We've talked about this, and that's very, very important. So take note of that. Right? All right. Now, difference between the worms and viruses. Worms, they replicate them, worms they self-replicate and they flood through the network, right? But for viruses, they need a host to be able to do that. Okay, so that's very important. So read up there, read up it, right? All right. In the absence, any other question as a round up? Okay, so thank you very, very much. Okay, all the classes will be for the master class. Some people have sent me a message, really. Okay, I have two people. Miki, you have the mic, and then Nini will be the last for today. Miki, you have the mic.
Two of my friends, Ishan and Nirvan, is calling me nigger. What does that mean?
Sir,
Nini,
please, there are three variants, and I'm doing variant one, two, and different topics come out in different variants. So I just wanted to know which topics you're talking
okay,
about for
now,
which
good.
variants.
Now, good, good. Now, if you look at the variants, now I'm going to share you just one secret. I'm going to give everybody this for free. And we'll explore that in the masterclass. Now, variant 1, variant 2, variant 3, they all fall within the same chapters, but different questions. So what they do is they get the chapters and they split the questions across board, right? So let's say, for example, I have 20 questions. Question 1 goes to 1 1, question 2 go to 1 2, question 3 go, so they share it across board. But the topics are important, right? So your focus right now is if you're using the past papers, you should also focus on the topics that I've given to you. Do you understand? Yeah.
Mr. When is the? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. When is your next class?
The other classes I have available are the master classes, right? And that's why you have them right here on right here in the screen, right? So
So I didn't attend this one early enough. is there a way for me to get back and rewatch everything?
Yes, I'm going
Do
to
you
post
send?
it. I'm going to
Okay.
post it. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel, so fear not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, yes, I'm going to do that. Okay. So yes. So again, Nini, I think you want to say something. Nini, go ahead.
Would there still be another free class on May 7th, the day before the
No.
exam?
What will be there is that I'm just going to post tips on my YouTube channel and the community server, right? The reason why that will not be possible is because of the master classes, the paid tuitions I'm having. And you can see right here, right, that for 6 and 7, it's been booked, right? And I have to keep up to the services because I'm a man of my word, right? So it's been booked. And because of that, there will be no time. I don't want to make any promise to say, okay, I'm going to create a free class and then I don't do it, right? Because certain learners, certain parents have been able to just book those slots already, right? Just having just 6 p.m. between them. But I will do my best. This I can give you my word. I will do my best in posting certain tips before your exam. That is a guarantee. Yeah, that's a guarantee. All right. All right. Thank you very much. I think that's all I can take for today. All right. Thank you so much. Again, these are the available times, UK times. You can convert them to your own time to see how it works well for you. I have on Saturday, which is the 4th, 5th, which is Sunday, 6th, Monday, and then Tuesday. These are the available slots that are available for ICT. So please, if you're interested, just send me a private message on Discord so that you can get your bookings on our databases, and then we can proceed from there, right? All right.
Sir,
All right. I think that's
sir,
all.
sir,
Yes,
one
go ahead.
question, please. So for the variant, what we are talking, so like I go like my variant is variant 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through all the topics which have come like 2019 paper, 2020 paper, 2021 paper. They'll be similar.
Yes. Why they are similar, I would advise you, the topics I've given to you, go to the topics. Studying in past papers is good, but go to the topics. The topics I've given to you, study them like your life depends on it. Study them like your life depends on it. This is very important if you're going to make good grades. Yes, Anas, go ahead. You have the mic.
Hello?
Yes, Anas.
It's a very simple question. So, I mean, I'll go through your YouTube and whatnot, but if I have any difficulties or anything that I may be stuck on, may I message you?
Yeah, sure, sure. I'm always
Thank you
online.
so much.
You message me
Appreciate it.
and yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Mr.
Anytime.
Ajiro, sorry, sir.
Yes.
What is ISBN and what's that under?
Now the ISBN is international standard for, I think it's for book, usually for books, right? The whole idea is that now for the ISBN, we have them in barcodes, right? And these
Okay, it's for
barcodes are
barcode.
for barcodes, right? And these barcodes have 4 parts. We have the first one is the country code, the manufacturer code, the product code, and the check digit. 4 parts, right? And this is something you see in chapter 6 of your textbook, ICT application under retail industry. Okay, retail industry. Okay. All right. Yes, that's
Sir,
all I can take.
for
Yes.
for for direct data entry, you said we should look at
Yes, go ahead.
for direct data entry, you said we should only look at RFID card readers and barcodes, right?
Yes, but glance to the rest. Don't forget, glance to the rest. But know the uses, advantages, disadvantages of the card readers, right? RFID barcodes. That will help you a lot. Of course, don't forget your OCR, MR, right? They're also important. Okay. Of course, we already know what is QR codes, which is your quick response codes. They store more informations. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And let me just check the comment section before I as I said, can you explain the concept of multi-factor authentication and the importance of enhanced security? We'll talk about authentication. Authentication simply means trying to ensure that the person who is gaining access is who he says it is. We'll talk about multi-factor. We're talking about more than one way to authenticate. And we have the use of what? Username and password, and adding another factor, which is biometrics, which is unique to you. And not just biometric, we have other ones like your tokens, right? When they send a one-time passcode to you. So even if the person has put inserted his username and password, there will be a code that will be sent to be able to verify. So in this case, we're having more than one way in which that user can be able to what? Verify that he or she says, he or she claims that's what he or she is, right? So that's the whole lesson of authentication. And you will see that in chapter 8 of the textbook. Also in chapter 4, you also see something like this in chapter 4, networks and the effects of using them. Very important. Okay. What else? Okay, so all these are just questions that was sent for me from the design. So please, you can send me those messages privately on Discord, right? All right, thank you very much, and do have yourself a wonderful night rest. All the best in your exam. All the best in your exam. Bye-bye.